Have you ever felt an odd itch somewhere on your body and paused for a moment, wondering if it meant something more? As we grow older, it's easy to dismiss small discomforts, dry skin, a little irritation here or there, as just part of aging. But what if that little itch isn't so little after all? What if it's your body quietly trying to get your attention before something serious happens? In this video, we'll uncover 5 specific places on the body where unexplained itching might be more than skin deep. It might be your heart sending out a silent signal for help. That's right. Strange as it sounds, persistent itching can sometimes be one of the earliest signs of cardiovascular issues, especially in people over 60. If you've ever had random itching on your chest, your left arm, or even your palms, don't brush it off just yet. These could be early warnings, often ignored, often misunderstood, that something deeper is going on. Today, we'll walk you through 5 surprising spots where itching could be linked to early heart symptoms. You might recognize one of them in yourself, or in someone you care about. And just becoming aware of it might give you a chance to act before it's too late. Let's begin with the first one, itching in the upper chest. This is one of the most commonly overlooked signs that your heart may be under stress. When an itch shows up just above your sternum, or spreads to your shoulders or upper back, and there's no rash, no new soap, and no allergy to blame, your body could be waving a red flag. For older adults, especially those over 60, this isn't something to ignore. It's not like the dry skin you get in the winter. It's not the kind of itch that disappears with lotion. This type of sensation often doesn't respond to regular creams or treatments, because the issue isn't in the skin, it's deeper. This part of your chest sits directly above your heart and major arteries. If there's inflammation, restricted blood flow, or pressure in those areas, the surrounding nerves can get irritated, and the signal they send out may be felt as surface-level itching. Your nervous system, especially as you age, can begin to whisper warnings through the skin before louder symptoms like chest pain ever appear. And that's the critical part, early heart problems in older adults rarely begin with dramatic pain. They start with vague signals, fatigue, shortness of breath, or an itch that just won't go away. When you've lived long enough, you know your body. You know when something doesn't feel right. So if you ever notice a persistent, unexplained itch in the middle of your chest, don't shrug it off. That small moment of attention, of listening to your body, could make all the difference. Because sometimes, your skin is the very first place your heart sends its cry for help. Now let's talk about the second spot, itching in the left arm or shoulder. Most people know the left arm is a classic location for heart attack symptoms, but what many don't realize is that an itchy sensation there, without a rash or swelling, could also be a more subtle warning. If the nerves around your heart are under strain, that stress can radiate outward, causing tingling, discomfort, or itching in the left arm and shoulder area. And again, it's often not the kind of itch that fades after scratching, it lingers, confuses, and has no clear reason. For some, this might seem like nothing at first, just another odd symptom of aging. But the body has its own quiet language, and in people over 60, every unusual signal deserves to be noticed. The left arm, in particular, is closely connected to the heart's network of nerves and vessels. So when it starts sending you strange signals, it may be time to listen carefully. But very few people realize that the heart doesn't always scream when it's in trouble, sometimes, it whispers. And one of those whispers can come in the form of something as simple as a persistent itch. What makes this kind of itch especially important is not just how it feels, but where it appears. The upper part of the left arm, near the shoulder, shares a nerve connection with the heart. That means when the heart is under stress, when blood flow is restricted or the arteries are tightening, the body may misinterpret that internal distress and express it as tingling, numbness, or yes, even itching. It's what doctors refer to as referred sensation, when pain or irritation from one organ is felt somewhere else entirely. Of course, not every itch on your shoulder means something is wrong. But if it's a strange, persistent itch that doesn't go away, or it shows up alongside fatigue, dizziness, or just an odd feeling of being off, it's something to take seriously. This becomes especially important if the itch appears during physical activity or moments of emotional stress. One of the most telling real-life examples comes from Sandra, a 68-year-old woman who noticed a peculiar itch on the back of her left shoulder. It wasn't red. It didn't peel. No rash, no visible irritation, and none of her usual creams helped. She assumed it was a pinched nerve, or maybe the way she'd slept the night before. Weeks passed. Then one afternoon while gardening, she suddenly felt lightheaded and short of breath. That was the turning point. She went to the doctor, and tests revealed narrowed arteries and clear evidence that she had already suffered what doctors call a silent heart attack. That itch, it had been the very first sign her heart was in trouble. We often expect heart attacks to feel like sharp, crushing chest pain. But in older adults, especially women, the signs can be far more subtle. That itching might come and go. It might feel more like a deep, inner agitation rather than something on the surface of the skin. Some people describe it as a strange tingly discomfort, or an uncontrollable urge to rub or scratch a spot that doesn't look irritated at all. So next time your left shoulder starts itching and you can't figure out why, pause. Don't rush to ignore it. Think about how you're feeling overall. Have you been more tired than usual? Dizzy? Short of breath? Stressed? Sometimes that itch is your body's only chance to say, something's wrong, please listen. If you're still with us and found this second warning sign helpful, type number 2 in the comments below to let me know you're watching. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to click that button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, protects, and empowers. Now let's move forward. Number 3, itchy jaw or neck area. At first glance, an itch along the jawline or lower neck may seem like nothing, just dry skin, maybe a new soap, or a little irritation from a collar. But if that itching sticks around, or seems to come out of nowhere, especially if you're over 60, it might be a quiet signal from your heart. Surprisingly, this region is one of the lesser-known zones where heart-related nerve signals can appear. The neck and jaw are filled with sensitive nerves, many of which are connected to the chest and heart. So when there's stress in the cardiovascular system, or blood isn't flowing as it should, the nervous system sometimes responds with misplaced signals, like a strange surface itch. Doctors call this referred sensation, and it happens more often in older adults than most people realize. As we age, the nerves around our upper body become more sensitive to internal changes, inflammation, pressure, tension, and that stress can show up as something small and strange, like a persistent neck itch. Sometimes this itch is accompanied by other subtle symptoms. You might feel a tightness in your throat, a need to clear your voice often, or a dull discomfort when turning your head. If these little things keep happening together, and don't go away, it might be time to check in with your doctor. You've earned the right to take every signal your body gives you seriously. Because in many cases, these quiet warnings are the only chance your body gets to cry for help before something more dangerous arrives. These kinds of symptoms may not be loud or dramatic, but they have a way of quietly adding up. In many cases, people say the itching seems to flare up during times of stress, after physical activity, or late at night when the body should be resting. Take the story of Walter, a 77-year-old retired truck driver. He told his cardiologist about an odd, stubborn itch just below his left ear, an itch that kept him awake night after night. There was no rash, no redness, nothing unusual to see. His wife thought it might be their new laundry detergent, but even after switching to a gentle brand, the itch persisted. Eventually, during a routine cardiac screening, prompted by his age and family history, they discovered restricted blood flow near his carotid artery. That small, nagging itch? It had been his first warning sign. His body was under circulatory strain, and the only clue was a sensation that seemed too small to matter. But the truth is, when you've lived many years, your body develops a quiet kind of wisdom. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through little things, like an itch you just can't explain. And while an itch on your jaw or neck might turn out to be nothing, it might also be the only chance your heart gets to warn you. When it comes to heart health, early is always better. If that itch doesn't go away with lotion, allergy pills, or a change of soaps, it's worth paying attention. You don't need to panic, but you do need to listen. Pay attention to when it shows up, how long it stays, and what else you're feeling at the time. Then mention it to your doctor. Because sometimes the smallest signal, a gentle itch in the wrong place, can open the door to a life-saving discovery. Now let's move to number 4, itching in the mid-back, between the shoulder blades. An itch right in that hard-to-reach spot between your shoulder blades might seem like nothing more than a shirt tag rubbing the wrong way. But for seniors, especially those over 60, persistent or recurring itching in that specific part of the back can sometimes be an early, indirect sign of something far more serious, cardiac strain or poor circulation. It may sound odd at first. After all, we don't usually connect back itching with heart issues. But the upper and middle back, particularly the area between the shoulder blades, contains nerve pathways that are directly linked to the chest, lungs, and yes, the heart. When blood flow is reduced or the heart is under stress, the body sometimes redirects those internal sensations outward, and they show up as surface-level symptoms, like tingling, burning, or a deep itch. In fact, many people who later experienced heart attacks have looked back and remembered unexplained discomfort in this exact region. A great example is Gerald, a 72-year-old widower who spent his days gardening and staying active. He started feeling a strange itch in the center of his upper back, especially when walking uphill or doing small chores. At first, he blamed his clothing, maybe heat or sweat. But the itch kept returning, always during activity, never when resting. Just to be safe, his doctor ran a cardiac stress test. The results? Early-stage coronary artery disease. That odd little itch had been his body's first warning. Doctors call this silent heart strain, when the heart is struggling, but the symptoms are soft, quiet, and easy to ignore. For Gerald, that itch wasn't just a nuisance. It was a message, and thankfully, he listened before things got worse. Just like the other signs we've talked about, the key here is recognizing the pattern. An occasional itch on your back or elsewhere might not be anything to worry about. But if it shows up in the same spot, during physical effort or times of emotional stress, and doesn't respond to clothing changes, lotions, or even better hygiene, that's your signal to pay attention. When you've lived into your 60s, 70s, or beyond, your body doesn't always speak loudly, but it speaks wisely. That's why these soft discomforts, the ones that seem small or random, can actually be the most important messages of all. So if you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment, number 4, below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to do that now and turn on the bell, so you never miss out on health content that could make a real difference in your life. Now let's move to number 5, itchy palms or soles without a rash. An itch on the palms of your hands or the bottoms of your feet is already unusual, but when there's no dryness, no rash, no visible reason, it becomes even more puzzling. For many older adults, this kind of itching gets dismissed as just another sign of aging or poor circulation. But in some cases, especially when it comes on suddenly and refuses to go away, it could be tied to something much more urgent, your heart health. Here's why. The palms and soles are packed with nerve endings and blood vessels, and they're among the most sensitive parts of your body. When circulation starts to slow or blood flow becomes restricted, whether from clogged arteries, heart pressure, or silent cardiovascular strain, these faraway areas are usually the first to feel it. The blood has to travel farther to reach your hands and feet, and when it doesn't flow properly, your nerves sometimes misread that lack of oxygen as itching. It's not just theory, doctors and researchers have seen this firsthand. Especially in patients who reported persistent itching in their palms or soles just days or weeks before experiencing heart-related episodes. One such story is of Lewis, a 70-year-old man who developed a strange nightly itch on the bottoms of his feet. No rash. No athlete's foot. No new soaps or shoes. He tried everything, foot soaks, lotion, changing socks, but nothing helped. Eventually, his doctor ordered blood work and a heart screening. The results revealed atrial fibrillation and poor circulation, clear signs his heart was struggling. That itch had been one of the only early warnings his body gave him. Now, does this mean every itchy foot is a heart issue? Of course not. But if the itch is persistent, has no clear cause, and shows up with other symptoms, like dizziness, fatigue, swelling in the legs, or shortness of breath, it's time to take it seriously. You don't need to panic. But you do need to pay attention. Because your body is constantly communicating, and sometimes, the only message it gives you is a quiet, stubborn itch. And listening to that message? It could be the first step toward saving your life. Storyteller, and after decades of living in it, you've developed an intuitive sense for when something feels off. Trust that instinct. When an itch doesn't go away and no lotion or cream can touch it, it's worth bringing up to your doctor. These conversations might feel small, but they can reveal much larger truths. Truths that could ultimately protect your heart and your life. As we wrap up these 5 itchy spots to watch for, remember the small signs matter. And listening to your body is one of the most powerful things you can do as you age with strength, dignity, and self-respect. Final thoughts. As we close out this video, take a moment to think back through the 5 itchy spots we explored. Which one felt the most familiar to you? Have you experienced an unexplained itch on your chest, your left arm, your jaw, your back, or maybe even your palms or feet? These might seem like small, unimportant annoyances, but sometimes the smallest signs are the ones that save us. We often expect danger to show up loudly with flashing lights and unmistakable pain. But the truth is, especially after 60, your body speaks in whispers. And those whispers, those subtle itches with no obvious cause, can be your early warnings. Your body is incredibly wise. It's lived through decades of experiences, challenges, and change. And over time, it develops ways to tell you when something is out of balance. Your job is to listen. Heart issues don't always begin with dramatic chest pain or breathlessness. In fact, many older adults who later experienced heart attacks looked back and realized the signs had been there all along, just quieter, easier to ignore. That persistent itch, that odd discomfort, that moment when you paused and thought, something doesn't feel right. Those are the signals that matter. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being proactive. You've earned the right to care deeply about your health. You've worked hard to get where you are in life, and the people who love you want you around for as long as possible. So, take your body seriously. If something feels off, talk to your doctor. Keep a journal. Make the appointment. You're not overreacting. You're being wise. And just as important as the knowledge is the confidence it gives you. Knowing these signs means you're already one step ahead. You're not in the dark anymore. You're not powerless. You're informed. You're prepared. And that changes everything. So, as you go forward, carry this information with you. Not with fear, but with clarity. Let it help you make choices that protect your heart, your health, and your future. You deserve that peace of mind. You deserve that strength. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.